Hi, thank you for joining Paralegal Power Break. This particular session is going beyond words. And in this particular session, it's going to be related to trial presentation, but also a case that was in the American Bar Journal recently. This case was regarding a woman. She's a women's rights activist, and so she had her breast painted like an opaque color, so pretty much it looked like she was nude, and it was out in public. So she was cited and fined, I think like $100 for indecent exposure. And so she went on to sue, and in the suit claimed that this particular application of the law violated her civil rights. One, because that was her, she was protesting, having her breast exposed. That was her way of protesting. And the Constitution affords people freedom of expression, freedom of speech. Also, in the suit, it also cited the fact that the law is not equally applied to women and men, because if men go topless, they are not cited for indecent exposure, whereas when women do, they are. So I just thought that was a really, really interesting case, not only because it kind of talks about legal issues and just like the application of the law, but also it goes into something that you deal with a lot in the legal field, as far as going beyond words, how ideas, concepts are communicated outside of just using words. In this example, this particular woman was protesting, and so she used her body as a form of protest with no words, no signs, no picket signs. It was just her body. And when you think of this in the context of when you are arguing a case, or when you are assisting an attorney with arguing a case, let's say at trial, and you are responsible for putting trial presentation together, it's important that the jury is not only making decisions on the words that they hear, what the attorney is saying, his closing argument, and how articulate his words are, but they are also looking at visuals. And that's the important thing about presentation. Software presentation tools that are used in order to convey a message. There's a variety of different tools that can be used to do this, but the important thing to understand is that when you are using other forms of communication outside of words, what you are actually doing is you are appealing to a particular emotion. You're appealing to something. And that in the example that I just gave, the woman was not necessarily appealing to an emotion, but it was pretty much the shock value, the grabbing the attention of individuals to bring attention or light to the cause that she was protesting. There was also another case similar where a man was cited for riding a bicycle nude. And when he was pulled over, he made the comment that he had his helmet on. So pretty much like, what's the problem? I have my helmet on. I am not breaking any laws. He also sued and used the same argument that he was protesting, that the Constitution affords individuals the freedom of expression. And he was protesting, I believe, the high gas consumption, so he was riding a bicycle. And to bring attention to the matter, he was riding the bicycle nude. What better way to bring attention to something than riding on a bicycle nude? So, in that particular case, the judge dismissed the complaint against him because of the fact that he was protesting. So it's important to understand that when arguing a case, when trying to convey a message, there are other methods that can be used outside of just words. And sometimes those may also be the more captivating methods of communicating a message, especially in trial. That's why there's a lot of, when let's say you're dealing with a personal injury case related to a car accident, you'll have accident reconstruction scenes so that the jury can see what it looked like, so they can be there. Or you'll have juries that are actually taken to certain scenes. Let's say there was a crime, they'll be taken to the scene of the crime so that they can get a sense of what it was like being there. So going beyond words is extremely important. Being able to convey messages without the use of words, but with the use of images, with the use of different devices. And when you are the paralegal that's working on a case where you're preparing for trial and you're putting different trial presentation, whether it be models or replicas of something, it's important to understand that you are conveying a message. You're telling a story. You want to be able to do that in the best way possible. So you want to understand what you're using, what message it's conveying to the jury. So, I'm not going to make this really long, but the takeaway from this particular session is that as a paralegal, it's important to understand the different methods of communication. Communication is not always done through words. Communication can be done with images. It can be done through invoking certain emotions, so that individuals can get a sense or feeling of how something actually affected someone. So that's important when you are, working in, whether you're working in criminal litigation or civil litigation, and when you are helping to develop the presentation for trial. So I'm going to go ahead and wrap this particular session up. I know it is late. This week's session, actually tomorrow, it's live. It is transitioning from a secretary to a paralegal. So if you're interested in that particular session, go ahead and register. You can register on the Resource Center page on Paralegal Ratemaker's website. So thank you for joining this particular, or listening in this particular session, and I hope to have you in tomorrow's session also. And have a great rest of your day.